I have not bought a bottle of kitchen cleaner in 50 years. Not one bottle. Everything in this kitchen gets cleaned with a mix. I stir up at the sink for about $1, and it works on everything. Last time I walked down the cleaning aisle at the grocery store, I stood there and counted 41 different bottles. One for glass, one for granite, one for stainless steel, one for wood, one for the stovetop, a separate one for the oven, and a third one for the range hood hanging above them both. 41 bottles to clean one room. My grandmother cleaned that same room with 3 things kept in a jar under the sink, and her kitchen was cleaner than mine. Her name was Betty. She taught me the mix standing on a step stool at her elbow when I was a girl, and I have made it the same way since I set up my own house in 1974. 50 years. Not one bottle of spray cleaner has come through my door in all that time, and I figure that has kept close to $300 a year in my pocket. Across 50 years, that is more than I paid for the stove. Here is the whole investment: 2 spray bottles from the dollar store, 3 ingredients you can buy at any grocery store in America, 10 minutes at the kitchen sink one time, and you are set for a month. And I want to be straight with you from the start, because I would rather you trust me than be impressed by me. There is one kind of countertop this mix will damage, and I will tell you exactly which one and exactly what to use instead. There is one job this mix does not do at all, no matter what anybody on the internet tells you, and I will tell you that too. I will also show you the paste that took 30 years of baked-on grease off my oven door overnight while I slept. And I will show you the mistake almost everybody makes with these ingredients, the one that cancels both of them out and leaves you wiping your counter with salt water and calling it clean. Subscribe if you still trust the old ways over the bright labels. Here is the $1 mix that has cleaned my whole kitchen for 50 years. Before I hand you the recipe, you need to understand why 41 bottles exist, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Pick up any spray cleaner in your house and read the back of it. The first ingredient is water. It is almost always water, and it is water by a long way. What you are carrying to the register is a jug of water with a teaspoon of something stirred into it, a squirt of dye, a squirt of perfume, and a very good-looking label. You are paying $4 for the bottle, the color, and the smell. Now here's the part they do not print on the front. There are only 2 kinds of dirt in a kitchen. 2. Everything you fight on a counter, a stovetop, a sink, or a window falls into one pile or the other. The first pile is grease. Cooking oil, butter splatter, the film that settles on the range hood, the sticky haze on top of the refrigerator, the smudge on the cabinet door right beside the handle. All of that is fat. And fat has exactly one enemy in this world, which is alkali. An alkaline cleaner does not scrub grease off a surface. It turns the grease into soap right there under your cloth, and then the soap rinses away with plain water. That is not a folk remedy. That is how every bar of soap in history was made. The second pile is mineral: hard water spots on the faucet, the chalky ring inside the kettle, the cloudy film on a drinking glass, the scum in the sink, the crust around the drain. That is not dirt at all. That is rock, left behind when the water dried and went on its way. And rock dissolves in acid. That is the entire science of a clean kitchen. Alkali for the grease, acid for the minerals. One of each, and you have covered every surface in the room. So why 41 bottles? because nobody can sell you 41 bottles of the same two things unless they name them after the surface instead of the dirt. Call it Granite Cleaner. And it sounds like it was built for granite. It was built for a shelf. The cleaning aisle does not sell clean. It sells the worry that your kitchen is dirtier than it looks. So here is what you buy, and it is three things: a box of washing soda. You will not find it in the cleaning aisle. It sits down on the laundry shelf, usually near the borax, in a yellow box, and it has been sold in this country since the 1800s. Washing soda is not baking soda. It is stronger, and it is the one doing the real work on grease. If your store does not carry it, plain baking soda will do the job, and you use twice as much. A gallon of plain white vinegar, the cheap kind. The jug on the bottom shelf that costs less than a sandwich, and whatever dish soap is already sitting beside your sink. You need half a teaspoon. Betty used to shave a little curl off a bar of soap with a paring knife because that is what she had. Now, 2 bottles, not 1. This is the part that matters, and I will come back to it. Bottle 1 is your grease bottle. Fill a spray bottle with a quart of hot tap water, add 1 tablespoon of washing soda, and add half a teaspoon of dish soap. Cap it and turn it end over end until the powder disappears. Hot water is the trick there because washing soda dissolves lazy in cold, and you will end up with grit in the sprayer. Bottle 2 is your mineral bottle. Half white vinegar, half water. That is all. If the smell bothers you, drop the peel of 1 lemon or 1 orange down into it and leave it for a week, and it will come out smelling like a fruit stand. Now the math, because I promised you $1. The box of washing soda runs about $4 and makes something like 30 bottles. The gallon of vinegar runs about $3 and makes 8. So the mix itself costs you pennies, call it a nickel a bottle. The dollar is the spray bottle, and you buy that one time and refill it for the rest of your life. Here is how you use them, and this is where most people go wrong before they ever start. Bottle 1 goes on anything greasy: counters, the stove top, the range hood, cabinet doors, the front of the refrigerator, the inside of the microwave, the trash can lid, the light switch by the door that everybody touches with dinner on their hands. Bottle 2 goes on anything crusty or cloudy: the faucet, the sink basin, the drain, the kettle, the shower door if you want to walk it down the hall, and the window over the sink. And now the part the label never tells you because there is no money in it. Spray the surface and then walk away for 1 full minute. Do not spray and wipe in the same motion. Every professional who cleans for a living knows this word, and the word is dwell. The cleaner needs contact time to break the grease down into soap before your cloth ever arrives. Spray, go put the kettle on, come back, and the counter will wipe clean with almost no pressure at all. Most people scrub because they never let the chemistry work. The dwell time is free. The second bottle of cleaner you buy because the first one did not work is not. And that's the kind of thing my grandmother knew that nobody ever bothered to write down. If you want the rest of them, I've gathered every trick, every recipe, every method into one place. Save $4,000 a year with Betty Sechrest's complete home saving method. Just scan the code on your screen right now, or tap the link down in the description and pinned right at the top of the comments. It's the same knowledge that kept families fed and warm when every penny counted, all in one spot. Go take a look. It's waiting for you. 2 cloths always. 1 damp for the wiping, 1 dry for the finishing. That dry pass is the whole reason my counters come up without a single streak on them, and it is the only reason anybody in this country ever needed a separate bottle of glass cleaner sitting under the sink. Now, the mistake, this is the one I promised you at the beginning, and I have watched grown women make it in their own kitchens for 40 years. Do not put the vinegar and the washing soda in the same bottle. I know it foams. I know it looks like something powerful is happening in there. It is not. What is happening is that the acid and the alkali are eating each other. And when the fizzing stops, what you are left with in that bottle is salty water with a little dish soap in it. You have taken your two best cleaners and canceled them both out on purpose. The bubbles are the sound of your money leaving. They work in sequence, never in the same bottle. If a spot needs both and a greasy faucet does, you spray the grease bottle, let it dwell, wipe it, and then you come back with the vinegar bottle, one after the other, never stirred together. There is one exception, and only one. Down a slow kitchen drain, the foam is the point, because the bubbling is what lifts the sludge off the pipe wall. A half cup of baking soda down the drain, a cup of vinegar behind it, a towel over the opening for 10 minutes, then a full kettle of boiling water. That is the only place in this house where I let those two meet. The second half of this costs nothing at all, and it is a habit rather than a product. Clean the stovetop while it is still warm. Not hot enough to burn you, just warm, right after supper comes off. Warm grease is liquid, and liquid grease wipes away with one pass of a damp cloth. Cold grease is a solid, and by morning it has set onto that surface like candle wax on a saucer. It is the same grease. The only thing that changed is the temperature and about 40 minutes of your life. That is the whole timing secret, and it is why my kitchen has never needed one of those heavy-duty oven sprays with the warning label on the side. I never let it get to heavy duty. Betty used to say that a kitchen is cleaned in the 10 minutes after supper, or it is scrubbed on Saturday, and Saturday costs a great deal more. Look at a photograph of any American kitchen built before the war. Really look at it. Under that sink, you will find a box of soda, a jug of vinegar, a bar of soap, a can of scouring powder, and a stack of rags cut out of worn flour sacks. 5 things, and 4 of them had other jobs elsewhere in the house. Those women were not cleaning worse than we do. They were cleaning the same 2 kinds of dirt with the same 2 kinds of chemistry, and they were doing it out of a jar that cost them almost nothing. And that's the kind of thing my grandmother knew that nobody ever bothered to write down. If you want the rest of them, I've gathered every trick, every recipe, every method into one place. Save $4,000 a year with Betty Sechrist's complete home-saving method. Just scan the code on your screen right now or tap the link down in the description and pinned right at the top of the comments. It's the same knowledge that kept families fed and warm when every penny counted all in one spot. Go take a look. It's waiting for you. Then somewhere in the 1960s, somebody sitting in an office figured out that dirt was a poor product, but worry was a wonderful one. You cannot sell a woman a second bottle of the thing she already has. But you can tell her that her countertop is a special surface, and her stainless steel is a special surface, and her wood is a special surface, and every one of them requires its own bottle with its own name and its own color. One bottle became 12, and not one of those 12 ever worked better than the first. That knowledge did not get disproven. It did not stop working. It just stopped being profitable for anybody except you. Now here is the paste I promised you, and it is the one that finally got my oven door. Take half a cup of baking soda in a bowl and stir in water a spoonful at a time until you have something about the thickness of cake frosting. Spread it thick over the baked-on grease with your fingers. On the oven door, in the bottom of a roasting pan, around the burner rings, anywhere the brown has turned to black. Then leave it all night. Go to bed. In the morning, it wipes off with a damp cloth and a plastic scraper, and the black comes with it. No fumes, no gloves that go to your elbow, no opening every window in the house in January. The paste was working the entire time you were asleep, which is the cheapest labor you will ever hire. 2 more, and then I will get to the honest part. A burnt pot, not a scrub job. Cover the bottom with water, add a good tablespoon of washing soda, and simmer it on the stove for 15 minutes. Whatever welded itself to that pan will float up on its own. And a wooden cutting board. Never washing soda, never a long soak. Half a lemon, cut side down, and a good handful of coarse salt scattered across the wood. Scrub it with the lemon in your hand, then rinse and stand it up to dry. The salt does the scouring, and the lemon does the deodorizing, and the board comes back looking new. Betty did that one every Sunday evening, and I have the board she did it to. Now, the honest part, because I told you at the start I would give it to you straight. Do not put vinegar on natural stone. Marble, granite, travertine, limestone, or an unsealed grout line. The acid eats into stone and leaves a dull patch you cannot polish out. If your counters are stone, bottle 1 and a soft cloth is all you use, and you leave bottle 2 for the sink and the faucet. Do not use washing soda on aluminum pans or on waxed or unfinished wood. It darkens aluminum and it pulls the finish off wood. Never ever mix any of this with chlorine bleach. Vinegar and bleach together make a gas that will send you to the hospital. If there is bleach in your house, it stays in its own bottle and it works alone. Wear gloves with bottle 1. Washing soda is hard on hands over time, and mine will tell you so. And here is the one thing this mix does not do, and I will not pretend otherwise. Cleaning is not sanitizing. My mix will take grease and grime off a surface beautifully. It is not a registered disinfectant, and it does not kill germs the way one does. So if you have just cut up raw chicken on that counter, or if somebody in the house has come down with a stomach bug, use a real disinfectant on that surface and follow the directions on the label, including how long it has to sit there. Every other day of the year, my 2 bottles are plenty. Those days, they are not. And if anyone in your household has asthma or a lung condition, talk to your doctor about what belongs under your sink. I am a grandmother who is good with $1, not a physician. Here is what I want you to do this Saturday, not next month, this Saturday. First, go under your sink and pull out every bottle you have down there. Line them up on the counter and read the first ingredient on each one. That takes 4 minutes, and it will do more to convince you than anything I have said. Second, pick up 2 spray bottles at the dollar store, a box of washing soda off the laundry shelf, and a gallon of white vinegar. Third, mix bottle 1 at the sink. Quart of hot water, tablespoon of washing soda, half teaspoon of dish soap. Shake it until it is clear. Fourth, mix bottle 2, half vinegar, half water, and a strip of lemon peel if you like. Fifth, label them both with a piece of masking tape and a marker, and keep them up high, away from children and anybody who might be confused about what is in an unmarked bottle. Sixth, spray your stovetop tonight after supper. While it is still warm, walk away for 1 full minute and come back with a damp cloth. That 1 minute is the whole lesson. And that's the kind of thing my grandmother knew that nobody ever bothered to write down. If you want the rest of them, I've gathered every trick, every recipe, every method into one place. Save $4,000 a year with Betty Sechrist's complete home saving method. Just scan the code on your screen right now, or tap the link down in the description and pinned right at the top of the comments. It's the same knowledge that kept families fed and warm when every penny counted, all in one spot. Go take a look. It's waiting for you. Look, here is what 50 years at this sink has taught me. The cleaning aisle is not in the business of making your kitchen clean. It is in the business of making you feel like it never quite is. That is why there is always one more bottle, one more surface, one more smell that means fresh. Betty stood at her sink with a jar of soda, a jug of vinegar, and a rag cut out of a flour sack, and she said the same thing to me every time I asked her which one to use. A clean counter is a clean counter, child. Nobody who ever sat down at my table asked me what bottle I used. If this helped you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more of the old ways. And drop me a comment and tell me two things: how many bottles you found under your sink, and which one you are throwing out first. I read every single one of them. Next time I will show you how I clean the entire bathroom out of those same 2 bottles, and the one thing I keep in there that costs less than a cup of coffee.